Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri, and is the world's first single-barrel-only liquor store. This store is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot. Get signed up for their email distribution list to find out when the store will be opening, what their hours will be, and most importantly, what they will have in inventory at abvbarrelshop.com. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebartogo.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we discuss what bottled in bond means to us. My name is Miss Beka Sue. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Cailee Baker, Jim Fosnot, and Evan Van Scoik.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Howdy.
How we doing?
Hey.
Good. Very good. Very good. So, yeah, we've got the fun show today. We're talking about bottled in bond and what it means to us, because you see that on the label. It does mean something to me, and we'll see what it means to everyone else as well. But before we get to all that, Jim said he had a question for the group. What is that, Jim?
Just came up on the show I was watching the other day, but when would you want to live historically? Like, what time period would you think would be best for you to live in?
Okay, best time period to live in. Does anybody got one that stands out? I mean,
I got a couple.
So you gotta have it narrowed down to one. It's got to be the one.
Where I will survive and thrive is the 90s, because that's what I grew up in. I will survive it. But I think the coolest one to live in would have to be like medieval times.
God, no.
Oh yeah, like going like jousting.
Average age is like 24.
Okay. Again, I did not. Well, I would want to go. Well, maybe I would want to go to one at least. Like, it would just be really cool. Again, I would not live very long there. I would probably not be very successful in those times. But in terms of like the coolest time, I like going to like Ren fairs and stuff. I think medieval times would be very cool.
Hey, when they have the Renaissance Fair, I want to go with you.
Okay.
I want to go with you. I've never been.
I would love to go to a Renaissance Fair.
I want to go. They got a big one here, and I've always wanted to go because I have a friend who I used to work with. She says it's great. Just go there, even if you're not into it and you think it's the dumbest idea ever. Just to people watch, it's worth it to go.
You dress up.
No. But I'd watch.
Come on.
Evan definitely dressing up.
Oh, Evan's dressing up. I'll have someone dressed up with me. It'll be Evan. Yeah.
He's line dancing in freaking armor.
You're gonna look weird if you don't dress up.
Well, I'll be like I'm man from the future. I'm here I'm here to lead you.
They have fantasy ones, so they usually have different themes, right? They'll do like the Highlands theme that's like more medieval.
I just want to drink the grog.
Like
that's why I want to
sci-fi.
Go. Grog. More grog, lady? So I'm in on the grog. I'm going. Evan, count me in. What is that, in the fall?
I'll go in the fall.
I'll go with you. It'll be fun. Yeah, and I'll get like the big turkey leg. I want a bench, a turkey leg, and a grog, and I'm good. Okay. I'll just people watch. So
Evan will be LARPing on the side, by the way.
Yeah, I think he will. Huh?
Yeah.
Definitely. All right. Cailee, what would be the best era for you to live in?
I don't know. I like what I grew up in. I think the 90s were pretty sweet. But
Hammer time? Hammer time?
Yeah, I feel like no, I feel like the 70s would be good for me. Because I'm not a very materialistic person, and I feel like in the 70s makeup wasn't a huge thing yet, and like people just like smoking weed and like listening to music and like having a good time.
Yeah, that's all they did in the 70s. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
So
all right, fair enough. All right, Jim. No, you asked the question. Miss Beka Sue.
So I think there's a few factors too that come into play of like what I would prefer, because like being a woman, present day and the things that we have access to is definitely nice. You can imagine what I mean by maybe some of those things. Yes. And also like not wearing like some of the garments that they'd have to wear, like, cause like initially it's like Wild West kind of times sound kind of fun, but like wearing a fucking dress with a corset.
Oh, you could be like Calamity Jane though. Calamity Jane were regular.
I say as long, like that sounds all good and fun, but also we need to remember the fact that I am blind. Okay.
Yeah, and we know. We saw your husband choice. Yeah, we got Royce. That's what he's made a living off that.
History, the worst, like I'm going to be virtually disabled. But I think that the 20s with like Prohibition, not the horrible part of Prohibition, but like the fun part of Prohibition of like the speakeasies and like in New York and all that kind of stuff, and like some of those like. What was the, I think her name was, Lucy. She was a writer and she just like show up, like just having fun and like going to these parties all night. And she'd write in the, in one of the newspapers all the time. And it just like, I think that sounds like it could be a lot of fun. So I think I'm going to go with the 20s on this one.
Okay.
Going with the Gatsby.
As much as just shooting people sounds like a blast.
Yeah. To me, if we can't go forward, I'd like to go forward about a decade. If we can't do that, and then I'd have to say modern times. I'm not a person that could go back in time. I can barely survive in these times. I need my iPhone and things. A robot to vacuum the floor. I just need all the today's amenities. So yeah, I'm not going back in time. No. Yeah, I'm good where I'm at. Jim, how about you? You asked the question.
So Beka Sue kind of for like Prohibition, like for me, heyday of the Mafia. If I could be in the Mafia during the heyday of the Mafia,
sounds like a blast, doesn't it?
Yeah, like kind of like Goodfellas or Godfather, whatever. I walk to the back door of the club, they let me in. They put a table up for Heidi and I. They just bring you right up in front of everybody and screw you, move back. And if I could be like a high level Mafia member back in the heyday,
Jim Fosnati.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of these things like sound like fun if you're a guy, but like if I was a guy, they would be a blast. But a majority of the time for like a woman, like you're like they don't like that's not really part of what you got to do other than like Calamity Jane and stuff like that. So like some of these, it's like, well, if I was a dude, then that would be a absolute fucking blast.
I feel like in the 70s they didn't wear bras, they didn't wear corsets, like so. Yeah, I feel like the 70s is a safe time.
Fun. Yeah, 70s sounds fun. I don't really think I don't know about the 80s, but
no.
Yeah, but 70s, yeah, I think it sounds fun.
I think we would want to visit, but not live there.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That it'd be cool if you could go and experience each one of these just to see what they were like, and it'd be cool if you could just pick out. Well, I say this, but we're getting closer and closer to like technology where you can just like live in your fucking headset, which I don't enjoy. But if you actually time travel back. And live in some of these times and be like, oh, okay, no, that's where I want to be at. I could really rule shit at this point.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's the era that we would like to live in. So yeah, sounds good. It's time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start this time with Evan. Evan, what do you got?
All right. Well, so we're doing a bottled and bond show. So I broke out a bottle and bond from Wood Hat. This is their Bourbon Rubenesque. And this is a fresh, I'm going to break the old tax seal here.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Okay. Good. A little sloshy, but good. Overall. Effort. Jim, what do you got?
I've got a Noteworthy. So brand new bottle. Only new bottle I'm doing tonight. Not pulling a Heidi. So we'll see how this goes.
Okay. Oh. I think Evan's still got the lead. I think
oh my
Evan's
God, mine sounded great on my end.
Wow.
I got Mike muffled or something.
Wow. It was good. It wasn't Evan good, but it was good.
Muffled.
All right. Beka, you're next.
I will not be part of the actual opening. I've got a sample from you, Steve, of an event it looks like we must have missed. It's Booker's. It says 12-11-7. I'm not sure what
12-11-7. There you go.
I don't know what that actually means.
12-17.
Is that
that's the date of the event? So
that's supposed to be a slash. 12-17.
So that's very good writing there.
Your fucking handwriting, Steve. But anyways, I've got some Bookers here. No idea anything else about it. So.
Okay. All right. Cailee?
So I'm wearing my bourbon pants tonight, which is like this comfy pair of bourbon pajama pants. It says Bourbons of Kentucky on them, and it has all bottles of bourbon.
That's
and
cool.
the other day, I was looking at them, and I saw this Trails Inn bourbon that I'd never seen before, and then I found it in a store, and I was like, oh my God, it's the Bourbon Pants bourbon. So
it's the Bourbon Pants bourbon. We're the Bourbon Pants people. That's our company logo.
Yeah. So Trails Inn, and it's finished with Oregon oak, which is pretty cool because my husband's from Oregon. So here we go.
Oh!
Woo! Did someone just get shot?
I think we got a new lead. there. So, yeah. All right. I've got Old Granddad here. This is a bottled and bond product, classic bottled and bond. I'm not hoping for much here. We're less than half bottle left. Here we go. I didn't get anything out of it, so I wasn't hoping for much, and I lived up to expectations. So there you go. Congratulations to Cailee. She wins. Cheers, gang.
Cheers.
Toast.
All right. We'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking about bottled and bond. We'll do that in just a few. Let's talk about the people who make these shows happen. First up is the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot in the greater St. Louis area. It is the most unique shopping experience in the world of bourbon, as the ABV Barrel Shop only focuses on single barrels. We aren't open just yet, but our plan is to have the most diverse single barrel offerings from our many friends in the world of bourbon. By signing up for a weekly email, you will know our entire inventory we have on hand. In addition to single barrels, we'll have a tasting bar and a gift shop featuring logo merchandise for both the shop and the ABV network, as well as a full curriculum of bourbon education classes. Additionally, we'll use the gift shop to feature products from our partners in the world of bourbon, companies like Art Eatable Chocolates and Old Man Bay Signs. Head over to ABV Barrel Shop to sign up for our email and text distribution list so you can stay in the know. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent visits to Kentucky. Today, he's leading the way for young distillers making their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery combines family history, a look at what makes their products unique, and of course a tasting through their whiskeys, moonshines, and creams. Check them out at neelyfamilydistillery.com and visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
This is Freddie Mills, and you're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about what bottled and bond means to us.
Yes, we do. When you see those three words on a label, what does it mean to you? Anybody want to jump in?
It just means to me that that particular distillery has done everything to authenticate their bourbon. They've done it under extreme scrutiny from the government. All these rules that you have to meet to be a bottled and bond. And I just think it's the most transparent that a distillery can be. And I really appreciate a bottled and bond.
I think that's a big landmark when a distillery can do a bottled and bond product. I just do. I think it's huge. Yeah. Bottled and bond kind of it was obviously the biggest thing in bourbon for a while. Then it really kind of died off. And when you're talking 10 years ago, bottle and bond was hardly even a thing. Those were all bottom shelfers, anything that was bottle and bond. But these days, with craft coming on and how important it is, I think it is a very important thing. And it shows you that they've been in business for at least 4 years at this point. They're making it themselves. It's what the proof is going to be. It's going to be 100 proof. It's not going to be some of the craft falls much lower. They're trying to make money early on. They come out with an 80 proofer or something. This we know is at least 100, is 100 exactly. So it's a cool thing. I think bottle and bond is a neat thing. What else do we want to say about it?
To me, it's the mark of quality. Like it's the benchmark for quality. That's what it started out as, showing like, hey, this stuff is isn't mixed with anything else. It is what it is. It is kind of the start of the FDA was Bottle and Bond Act, but also to me, it's also a great benchmark for craft distilleries. Like when they hit that bottle and bond mark, that's when they've making quality stuff for a length of time and being put to be able to put enough away to hit that 4-year mark. It's tough. Like these small distilleries, especially, people think they just open up and they're popping out, several barrels a day. Like most craft distillers are doing, if they're doing a barrel a day, they're lucky. So when they can get enough put away to hit the bottle and bond mark, and not just be selling it to just keep alive, that's a big deal. And it just shows their commitment to what they're doing.
Yeah, I agree. What else do we think about bottle and bond?
What comes to mind for me is like reliability. So along with that idea that it's a quality standard, is you can almost always rely on a bottled and bond product to be easy to drink. They're always 100 proof. They've got some good amount of age. You do see some variation there, right? Like you can get anywhere from seeing some like 5 and 6 years. You'll see some 10, 12-year bottled and bonds, which, they're going above and beyond the minimum requirement. They're just almost always a reliable product. Like Evan Williams bottled and bond. You've got E.H. Taylor. You've got Wilderness Trail with a bottled and bond. Just so many good ones come to mind that you could even branch out. And I think of like Still 630 having their SS Sorghum bottled and bond. The bottle I just cracked for the cork pop would having their Bourbon Rubenesque bottled and bond. Last episode, Stumpy's wheat whiskey. They're reliably good taste. Tends to come with something that's bottled and bond. And then the little tack strip looks pretty cool.
Yes. Beka, anything you want to add to the bottle and bond thing?
Everyone here has been saying good things about bottled and bond, which I do all agree with all these things. But the first thing that I think of whenever I think of bottled and bond is the government.
Mm-hmm.
And I fucking hate the government, and I don't like them meddling in everything. I like the fact that it helped make things consistent, and they got some of the rectifiers out of there so that there was bottled and bond things. But it was just the government starting to just dive deeper and deeper and deeper into the distilleries. And so I just think of the fucking government.
Yeah.
And I start thinking of bottled and bond and different regulations. And regulations are good, obviously, to a point. But I think of...
The industry did ask for these regulations.
Right. Yes, and this particular one, I'm not opposed to. I think that it really solidifies what the product is so that you know what you're getting. And those are all very good things. But it just, to me, it just reminds me of the government trying to take hold of everything that happens in everything. Yeah. And so I always trust a bottled and bond and the fact that it's going to be good. It's going to be it's a solid product because it shows that it came from one distillery and all those good things. But it just reminds me that the fucking government meddles in everything that exists.
Mm-hmm.
and I believe in everything you just said there, but I do believe this is one instance where
it was okay.
Yeah. Again, distilleries needed this, really.
Because you had people,
needed it to survive.
I agree with all that. I'm saying that I agree with the bottled and bond, what it stands for, and I love that because it solidifies distilleries. I'm just saying that all the things that come right after that of just the government, all the taxes,
I agree with you 100%.
all that stuff, that's just what pisses me off, and it sucks because the bottled and bond stuff is such a good thing.
Yeah.
But
here's one thing again on the positive that I think about bottled and bond, because it takes out one of the most annoying things in bourbon, and that's the conversation of proof, because everyone's proof. Proof. If you're into bourbon, you're a bourbon snob. You think you're heading towards that. You love proof. And if I brought over and I said, "Here's a new craft distillery, guys. It's a 93 proofer. Check this out," and there'd be someone that'd be sitting there and be like, "Boy, I'd really like to try this at barrel strength." But if you pop down and say, "Hey, this is their new bottled and bond," they're not going to say, "I'd like to try this at barrel strength." They know going in, it's got to be 100 proof. They can't do that. So it takes that out of the conversation, which I think is kind of cool too.
absolutely.
Steve, honestly, I don't know the answer to this. Does bottled and bond have to be exactly 100 proof, or does it have to be more than 100?
No, 100.
100. It has to be 100. Yeah,
Exactly
It has to
100.
be 100. Did we ever like?
There was an old rule that it had to be in a glass bottle. It couldn't be in a plastic
That's
bottle.
still how it is, isn't it, Steve?
I thought so, but when I went through Steve and Pete's site, it wasn't positive.
Steve, can you cover all things that bottled and bond has to be in case anyone listening doesn't actually know the exact rules? Because I think there's plenty of people that see the bottled and bond, they think that must mean something good, and so they grab it because it looks like a cool thing wrote on the bottle. Will you explain all the actual rules that go along with the bottled and bond?
Okay. Hopefully I know all of them. So it has to be at least 4 years old. So it can be older than that. So you can have a 17-year-old bottle and bond.
Yeah, but it has to be at least 4.
It has to be at least 4
in a federally bonded warehouse.
Federally bonded warehouse, which is the standard really when we're talking about the bourbon industry these days. But yes, it has to be 100 proof, as we talked about before. It has to be distilled by one distiller. You can't mingle. You can't be like, okay, this is our bottle and bond blend. It has to be from one distillery in one distilling season. So distillery seasons, it's broken up into the year is in half. So January to June, and then July to the end of the year. It's 2 distilling seasons. So it has to be one distilling season. And again, the little known ones in glass. So yes.
In glass. And also an older rule, I think, that has kind of loosened up over the years is it has to be the same distiller.
Yeah.
Not just the same distillery. You have to have the same distiller that's distilling, but there's so many hands in the pots nowadays that it's hard to do that. And so I think that's kind of just been gone by the wayside as it's aged.
It
and
used
at
to
one
be.
point, you had to have the tax stamp on it.
Correct. You had to have it sealed.
They took that away in 63 or something, Steve? Is that when they took away the...
They took that away, I think, actually in the 80s, but like 83.
80s, yeah.
Yeah, but it's most of them, or a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them still have like a faux tax stamp just because it has the old school look. Yeah. So you will see it in a lot.
And like I said, that's all good things. There's nothing that's bad about that. It just was like... When did that actually come into
1897?
Yeah, so that was really the start, I think, of the government taking hold of so many things that happened with distilleries from that point.
Well, Becca, be thankful, because back then you actually had to have a bonded federal agent
on site
watching your warehouse where it came from.
They lived on site.
And there'd be locked warehouses with a key.
That's not ancient history. Oh, of course, it's ancient history for the kids today, but for us, President Reagan was the one who got rid of that. So again, I don't think of that as I think of that as modern history. Actually, I guess maybe a younger listener would be like, "Oh, that's old times." Ronald Reagan. But
they would live on site, and they'd have everything be chained up and locked up.
They have the keys,
and it's just that's just what I mean with like the government just meddling into every single thing that went with distilling, and that's what I say that like it was just the.
But be thankful that at least Reagan went and took that away. So right now your guest bedroom would be Steve's.
I was gonna say the fucking government would be in our guest bedroom.
It would be the bonder's room, and you wouldn't even have a key to your own freaking warehouse. He'd have the key.
Yeah. And the great thing is, of course, and there's examples. I'm not going to say they were all like this, but there was examples throughout history where some of those revenuers that were living there on site were on the take and selling whiskey and looking the other way. They're the ones that are supposed to be watching things to make sure they're legit, and they were the problem. So that's where we got real problems. Yeah. So fun stuff. But there you go. There's a little bit on Bottle and Bond. It does mean something. Look for those 3 words, and now you know a little bit more about it if you didn't know before. And it's a cool thing. I think that it's a big moment when a distillery can say, I have a Bottle and Bond whiskey. Would you like to buy it? So it's cool stuff. We'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Cailee, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
Come see me out at one of Leatherwood Distillery's 2 locations in Tennessee, and follow me on Instagram at Kaylee Baker or at the Bourbon Bakers.
Okay, Evan.
Yeah, you can find me doing all kinds of fun things around the St. Louis area, such as line dancing, bowling, hanging out at the ABV Barrel Shop.
Heck yeah.
Or you can find me online, hanging with my friends in the ABV Network Crew Club, or on Instagram at Wit Wisdom Whiskey.
All right, Jim.
You can find me line dancing with Steve at the ABV Barrel Shop.
Yeah,
no,
it's fun.
No, you can find me on Facebook at Jim Fosnut, on Instagram at FosJim. Or you can find me working on the Barrel Shop with Steve Akeley in Arnold, Missouri.
Heck yeah. Miss Beka Sue.
You can find me helping Steve pick out a new single barrel for the ABV Network bottle shop at Neely Family Distillery, I think. Or you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Miss Beka Sue, 1K, no C's.
Yeah, I think our plans are to never be out of Neely, so always to have something there.
Does Jim get to help with those picks? I'm just curious.
Only Steve.
No, not Jim.
No Jim, only Steve.
Well, since I'm an 80% owner of this.
No. All right. For me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out because everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, so much more, abvnetwork.com. Miss Beka Sue, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing, we ask you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
All right, great job today, gang. For our audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Another friend of ours is the Goldstein family at Goldstone Mill. The Goldsteins offer a variety of heritage and heirloom grains to make the finest whiskeys in the world. Plus, they are more than just a grain company. They are truly consultants to make sure the grains they are providing to you or your business meet your highest expectations. Additionally, they work with mills around the country, ensuring shipping is as low as possible for their customers. If you're a distillery, brewery, or even doing this at home, Goldstone can assist you. Check them out at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or check in via email at hello@goldstonemill.com. Last but not least is the ABV Barrel Shop. While we don't get to play in the allocated bourbon game because we aren't selling the other products you have to do to get those, we do have access via our friendships in the bourbon industry to some really cool stuff. Have you ever seen your favorite craft distiller selling some really cool limited offerings only in their gift shop? I'm talking things like the hazmat offering Distillery 291 did for their 10th anniversary, or Neely Family Distillery's upcoming Papaw's Birthday Barrel. They don't have enough of it to send it out to distributors, so they only sell it via their gift shop. Well, companies like Distillery 291 and Neely Family Distillery have agreed to sell us 2 or 3 cases of these offerings moving forward, meaning our store will have the access to some of the rarest whiskeys in the world. Way more difficult to come by than the allocated bourbon offerings with the national release. Yes, they will be extremely tough to come by, but if you're a customer of our store, you'll have a chance to get them. Get signed up for our email or text list over at abvbarrelshop.com so you don't miss out.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.